Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. Last time we read a letter. It didn't go very well. In fact, it occurs to me that I haven't interacted with this again. Should we?
It's the ledger you found in the trap. Oh, and the cool piece of toilet paper is stuck to the back.
Inspect the toilet
It's
paper.
just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
I'm gonna take it off.
Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better.
Have I inspected the clip?
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
I'm gonna run my finger across the aluminum.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery stick.
How the fuck did I say
It's
that word?
rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. It is similar to the Elysium watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage? That you can read these there?
Lieutenant, is this one of the hologram watermarks you mentioned?
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property.
Interesting. What kind of information?
Depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address.
Ooh, address.
Information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved. How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
How can I read it?
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do.
You mentioned the headlights.
RCM vehicles have headlights tuned especially to reveal halogen watermarks.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Thank you.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight.
Smell the
The
ledger.
acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner.
I'm gonna put it away. Since we were so close to the car, we might as well.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out tool.
Kim, how do I turn on the headlines?
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
Press engine
The
start.
dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Enigma comes to life with a whiny growl.
Press the button.
The lights unfold with a
Headlights.
flick, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just
I'm gonna close the door. Go stand in the headlights.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
There's a note of pride in the lieutenant's voice.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro perforations.
Look at the shimmering street grid, I think.
The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights.
Wait, look around you.
You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window. In the middle of a broken plaza, illuminated in a cone of light, two men, one slim, the other sturdy. They are on the city stage, but only one of them knows his lines.
Ah, Martinez at night.
Where are we on this?
Let me see.
Takes the ledger for a moment and inspects
Right
it.
here.
His finger near the top of the map on a segment of coast jutting out into the Great Ocean. I'm sure I've seen worse.
Oh yes. Coal City. Le Royaume. The burnt-out quarter.
All of them worse than here.
Well, look at the
There
perforations.
are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows.
Tally up the rows.
The first row has 18 dots.
What about the next
The
one?
next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some.
Count individually.
Count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you. Though you can't say why, precisely.
What about the last row?
The last row has 3 perforations.
3? That's it?
That's it.
Hey Kim, what do all these holes mean?
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
Alpha male?
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
Wait, 18 years I've done this?
That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth?
I feel like I just went around apologizing all the time. Mood.
Maybe you were a diplomat, or in PR. Doesn't matter, I suppose. Let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see... Wow, more than 200.
216, to be exact.
It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
I used to be good. That's some solace, I guess. What's the last number?
Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there.
So I'm a killer.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way.
That's good.
There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident.
It's obvious the lieutenant doesn't think very highly of these officers.
But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
I think I've asked him this, but let's ask again. Have you ever killed anyone, Kim?
Yes.
He says, declining to elaborate. How do you handle the strain?
Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective, or self-destructive than others.
He gives a meaningful look.
Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies.
Like tip-top racing?
Par exemple,
Maybe I should find a hobby.
why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab.
Thanks. Conclude.
The lieutenant nods.
Let's put the let's go.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page.
Oh, really?
To the right of the task description.
Oh! Huh. Huh. Huh? I don't know what these numbers mean. Good cop, bad cop, 16. Moralist, 7. Ultra liberal, 5. Fascist, 1. That's the lowest number of these political things, I guess. Communist, 3. Not sure how, but sure. Honor, 1. That's a low number. Sorry Cop, 9. Superstar Cop, Apocalypse. Boring cop. Man, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, really. We haven't talked. Time is running kinda low. I wanna go make sure I speak to the man. Could I perhaps exchange a word with Mañana?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Just a quick save.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
That weasel I visited. Turns out he has one hell of a colonial mug collection.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
This is fun. Okay, I could go with this, or I could go with this. See how we're all busy concentrating on the racist mugs? That's what the ruling class wants.
Yeah, it would be really bad if we got into an argument about it. Waste of a good noon. Or afternoon. Or night. Anyway, thanks for helping out, friend.
Hey,
Look around.
hey, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Did I get another communist point for that? Again?
Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too?
I hasn't worked out yet. Yeah. Neither has love not worked out yet? No, love worked out great for me. I'm a love winner.
Good. We need tender men like you building gargantuan communism. Word on the street is it's going to be 10,000 times larger than any communism previously attempted by human beings. Is that right?
It's gonna be 10,000 communism. It's gonna be the biggest communism. Why are you talking about communism like you're Donald Trump? We're gonna have a new communism. It's been tried before. We're gonna do it better than anyone else. It's gonna be bigger than anyone else. We're gonna have the biggest communism. How come there's this word on the street?
Keep saying things like down with the bourgeoisie.
Do I?
Eat the rich.
Do I?
Sodomize the landowners.
I never said that.
Who have more than 25 real in their pockets. Literally murder all human beings, regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
I think I've said some mildly left-wing things, but none of those.
Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that would devour and masticate mankind.
Seven-eyed lamb? Like the Book of Revelation?
Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Wait, first, what's this communism even about?
Failure. It's about failure.
Failure?
Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped and pissed on. Until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother.
Huh?
You against the atom, the charm and the spin. Where the whole world
spin?
failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist.
Am I?
Work, comrade.
I don't think I have it in me. I'm beat down. I'm gonna opt out.
Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working man it's over, unless anyone has objections.
I think they're gonna do a communism
No
just fine.
objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a classless society. Everyone knows this.
Well, if logic says so.
Did someone mention cocaine? Are we doing cocaine? No. I'm sure I heard someone say cocainism. Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one? There's no one. Okay then, lie down and let the water carry you downstream.
Goodbye, communism. What did I say? The ruling class wants us to focus on race. Well, that's just true. I don't know if that's a communist idea that... I don't know, the communists in real life seem to focus a fair bit on race all on their own. I don't know. Just gotta keep this in mind. Wild pines. Ooh, a green one. Composite eye of halogen, yep. Another 10 cents in my pocket. Somehow. I'm just manifesting money by looking at things.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not...
Somehow, I guess this lets me better
You're back
convince
before
the door to
container.
open.
And, as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with rhetoric.
Maybe I am losing my mind. Maybe I'll give it 2 more shots. I'm not gonna actually sit here and do it over and over until I succeed.
As it's
But I'll give it a couple.
You're back before the cargo container. And, as
Close.
it's always been,
No dice. Ah shit. Press shift tab again. That's gonna make no sense because I don't think that shows up on OBS. Okay, fucking slug man.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair.
I opened the door, you ask me. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
he's trying to figure out if you're lying. There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
Just wanna... Okay. Yeah, I want to do that. I did go inside. Weasel had the flag of the old Ravachol on his wall.
Exactly the kind of fascist memorabilia I was expecting. Weasel probably prays to it every night for the downfall of the Union.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about it.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Top hats and flat caps, that's interesting that you're...
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire? I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Sadamoritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Hold on. You have a village elephant?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Wait, they moved the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane.
Huh.
It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them. All hardened commando types.
3 of them?
One of them got downright suicidal. Getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own
Just a little, huh?
negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy. The one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
The whole neighborhood is in on it?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
And who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
Yeah, it does.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping
How
company?
do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
The name of the company is Krenel this time. Might have been Sediment before, and that's what we learned from Alice.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men. All 7 of them.
7.
Exemplary union members.
We're still missing
Always
one.
working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Old Theo. Have we met an old Theo? I don't think we have.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind.
That wasn't the question.
Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
He's betting on them being useless to you.
See. I met these Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
Of course. It's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Wait, why are you giving it to me?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Fucking fine, I guess.
The lieutenant watches you pocket the banknote. He looks a little puzzled.
Good boy. A real team player. Now, do you have any more questions?
You mentioned the lawyer
Oh,
girl.
Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
I see. Was a bullet in the hanged man's head.
So they shot him.
Sounds pleasantly
He
surprised.
was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
What I do know is the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman.
Oh, I hate this slimy fuck. Good talk.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you.
Oh fuck, he's gonna have us do something else.
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
This is another corrupt scheme, isn't it? I'm not left or right. I do what my heart tells me.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you. Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates.
it will be righteous, dude. Okay. You're gonna build a modern youth center.
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Where is this place exactly?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
What will happen to the current occupants?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Are you 100% sure no one's going to end up homeless?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez, not just the harbour.
Man, I do not trust you at all. Kim, what do you think of
It
this?
depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez. And maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
Yes. I can accept it and then not do it if it feels shady. I just want to solve the case, man. I know this guy's fucking playing me, this fucking slime bag. Ah, god damn it. But what the fuck do I do? Fine, if I happen to be there, I can ask
You
them.
bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here, you need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the waterlock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning.
Which I believe is tomorrow.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun. See you soon, Debardeur. Just kidding, but not too much.
Oh man. Oh, I can interact with the white envelope. Let's step outside and interact with it. Oh, I hate running errands for this guy. We'll talk to them, see what they have to say. Did my good cop, bad cop score go down? Huh. Because I'm doing fucking... I'm trying to solve the case. I'm gonna interact.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite.
I get a minus for that because conceptualization thinks it's cool. Kim, what do you think of
I'm
this?
no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
How else are you going to build something? It's always inconvenient to build things, and citizens inevitably have disagreements over such construction projects. But there's no other way.
I'm gonna try and find a loophole. No snake eyes.
There is no loophole.
Oh
The
shit.
simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
12 to 40 months? What are the ramifications of
Once
this?
the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
Look, Kim. These people are gonna have to move away. Can we do something about it?
I should have seen it.
He frowns as he reads over the document again.
Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures
Ooh.
yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Evrard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can
Yes.
try forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
That could be fun. Try my hand at forgery. But does that help anyone? Maybe. If like the idea is that I don't actually get the real signatures, then they can't actually carry on. Where the fuck is the knickknacks stand?
You're back before the code.
There's a bit of a run around this. In 20 minutes, we're supposed to be in the apartment building.
The file cabinet stacked the drawer slides shut.
Just realized I'm not holding my ledger, which I probably should be. Knick-knack stand.
A lorry stuck in.
Knick-knack stand. What about this lady? Could I do anything with this lady?
The woman still has her.
Knick-knack stand. Where the fuck is the knick-knack stand? It's not in here, is it?
You see several packaged raincoats.
I don't know where the knick-knack stand is. I can go and talk to the Hardy Boys about what I talked to Evrard about. Anything going on over here right now? No one's singing? Nothing? I'm gonna save right here and I will be seeing you next time on Disco Elysium. See you later.